Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Hamdan kasiran tayyiban mubarakan fih. Summa salatu wassalam ala Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wasallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in wa ala kulli man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin wa ba'da. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Muslim Council of Hong Kong Ramadan Reminders Day 6. Today's topic is submission. As we all know, submitting to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one of the most important aspects of our faith of Islam. Without submission, there is no Islam. In the very definition of the word Islam, al-Islam, the most important aspect that comes out is the submission, which is to turn oneself completely and wholeheartedly, whether we know, whether we don't know, the purpose of which a command is given, that we obey. We hear it and we obey, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the qualities of the true and sincere believers in Allah, is that you hear and you obey. In the Quran, Allah mentioning one of the noble prophets, his quality to show the best example, or one of the best example, is that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, whatever he was commanded to do, whether it makes sense at first sight or not, he will execute, because he knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never command him what is not right. And if he is commanded to do something, he will just submit to it. Allah recorded this in the Quran in the chapter 2 from ayah 130 to ayah 133, in particular mentioning the story of Prophet Ibrahim. He said, وَإِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He said, mention when his Lord told him, submit, he said, I submit to the Lord of the world. That's why whenever you see the story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, you will see how humble and how sincere he was in his submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the most striking and difficult things to grasp for anybody is when you are told to sacrifice your son. You've been praying for, waiting for, until you reach a very old age, yet the one who gave you this son told you to sacrifice this son, and for his sake, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, without any hesitation, without asking questions, he said, I submit, I'm willing, and he was ready to execute the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah acknowledged this sacrifice on behalf of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, and made his legacy as an example until the end of time. That's why until the last day, Muslims will be emulating the example of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, as we do for the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it goes back to this very concept of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. When you affirm this one, you negate all aspect of worshiping anything else other than Allah. You reject. At the same time, a Muslim, a believer, should reject and forsake all parts that are related to worship, except the part that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has shown to us. This is true submission. So if we are criticizing other people of different faith, of different sects, for not believing in this or for practicing that, we need to look at our own self. Are we following the footsteps of the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If yes, then you are submitting, you are surrendering, then you are following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If not, then we need to criticize ourselves, look back how much of the sunnah we are practicing, because submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires guidance, and this guidance only comes from the one who is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the path. So the path to Allah is the path that is shown by the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So through the sunnah, we will achieve the pleasure of Allah. Our submission to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will only be complete if we follow it through the footsteps of the best of mankind, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown what is the submission he requires from us, mankind. Otherwise, there will always be differences. There will be always clashes. That's why when Allah said, whenever you have dispute about any matter, bring it to the judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger. And the judgment of Allah is the best, and it is only known to us as shown through the action and saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the sunnah. May Allah make us people who are wholeheartedly submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by following the footsteps of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, observing what he observed, abstaining from what he commanded us to abstain as much as we can. Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you for listening to the audio. Please like and share, and do listen to tomorrow's reminders as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.